All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. This is Module 6, Lesson 2. Your target for today is that I will be able to construct a coordinate system on a plane. And no, that is not an airplane that I am talking about. So let's move on. We are going to move on to fluency. If you would like to do this fluency, go ahead and pause the video to copy down. Here we go. So count by fourths from 0 fourths to 10 fourths. Do the same thing, but count whole numbers when they occur. Count by thirds from 0 thirds to 10 thirds. And then do the same thing again, but count whole numbers when they occur. Here's your next fluency. You're going to find the missing numbers on this number line. So you are going to find out what B is, C, and A. On the top number line, on the bottom left, you want to know what is L, K, and J. And then on the vertical number line going up and down, you are trying to find E, H, F, G, and D. We did our application problem, and ours looked very similar to this one, using the words parallel like Elm Street and perpendicular like King Street. And so today what you're going to do is we are going to construct a number line. So you are going to need your grid paper. You are going to need your pencil. And we are going to start with problem number 1. So we are going to construct a second number line perpendicular to the x-axis. Okay, so when we are talking about a coordinate plane, we're going to start, before we draw our number line, I want to start by talking to you and telling you that a coordinate plane has a x and a y axis. The x-axis is the horizontal axis, and the y-axis is the vertical axis, okay? So x is horizontal, y is vertical. But before we do that, we're going to draw this number line. So we're going to draw a horizontal number line using your straight edge. So if you have your ruler, go ahead and use that on the bottom of your paper. So you're going to go to the bottom. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to draw a straight line all the way over. So I drew a horizontal number line using my straight edge at the bottom of my paper. So number 2, it says label the origin on the left at the first hash mark. So the origin, if you remember from yesterday, is what, everyone? The origin is 0. The origin is 0, your starting point. Okay, so this is 0. That is the first hash mark. Okay, now it says draw 20 more equally spaced hash marks using one of the fractional units from yesterday's strip. Well, we don't have yesterday's strip, so what you're going to do is you're going to draw 20 more hash marks. So I'm going to draw 10, and then in the middle, I'm going to draw halves. So I have, which I'll zoom in here for you, I have 1, you know what, I'm going to draw them a little smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whoops. Okay, so now I'm going to, I drew my line a little long. So if you drew yours long as well, you can always, move it or erase. I'm going to redraw it, y'all. Okay, here we go. Let's start again. There we go. Okay. So now I have my 10 equally spaced hash marks. 10. And in between each hash mark, so I have 20, I'm going to draw my little halves. So I gotta... One more right there. Whoa. Okay. So 20 or more equally spaced hash marks. Every other hash mark with the whole number, mark every other hash mark with the whole numbers from 1 to 10. So like we were doing, okay, our larger hash marks are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so there's our number line. That was problem number 1. Okay. So we have problem number 1. But now what we're going to do is we have our x-axis, okay? Now if you can see over on the left side, we are going to now construct a second number line that's perpendicular to the x-axis. So, which means that would be this line that starts at 0. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And then in between these, we have our middle hash marks. So now we have a y-axis, and we have an x-axis. And I'm going to just highlight those. Y-axis, x-axis. Okay? So now, this is our coordinate plane that we just drew. Say it with me. Coordinate plane, not an airplane, a coordinate plane. So when you have an x-axis and a y-axis like this, now I am able to give you coordinates of a point that doesn't necessarily directly fall on your number line, okay? So, can you please point to... Go ahead and tell me, what is this number? Everybody tell me. Right, it would be 4 on your x-axis, right? Okay, what about this one right here? This is 7.5 or 7.5 on your y-axis. Let's do this one. Right there, that green dot. 2.5 on the x-axis, good. And what about this one on our y-axis. That's 9. Very good. Okay, so when you are working with coordinate planes, you have something called a coordinate pair, like you see on the left-hand side. And that coordinate pair is a point on your coordinate plane that does not fall directly on the y-axis. So if you look there on the left-hand side, you will see that there is a point marked, okay? And your coordinate pairs are always x and then y. X comes before y in the alphabet, so x always is first. So it's how far horizontally and then how far up vertically. So if I were to give you this point right here, just like it does on the left-hand side, you would tell me that the location of that coordinate point is 1, 2. That's how you would tell me to find it. Look at 1, 2. Okay? Because we went over 1 and over 1 and then up 2. Over, up, over, up. Okay? So, let's do some more. Let's do some more points. All right. And remember these lines on your coordinate plane, okay? Like if I were to ask you, what is this green number, that green point, okay? That is 6 on your x-axis. So it would read as 6, 0. And that tells us that it is 6 units from 0 on your x-axis. The distance from 0 to this green point right here is 6. Okay. It looks like you guys are understanding some of this, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to plot a point on your graph. Plot a point on your graph. And the point you are going to plot right now, and I'm going to use a different color, I'm going to use red, is 1.5. So find 1.5 on the x-axis and plot a point there. So that would be right there. Okay, there's our 1.5. We're going to call this A. We have a great strategy for describing the locations of points, such as point A. It's directly on that number line, so it's pretty easy for us to describe that location. 1.5 units from 0 on the x-axis. Okay? But how can we describe the location of a point that doesn't lie directly on the line X? Okay? So make sure you know how to do that, which is what we just went over. So we have our point A there. Now I'm going to ask you to plot point B. So point B, the location of point B is going to be B equals 1, 2. So we've already done this. So I want you to plot the point 1, 2 on your graph. So point B is going to be here. Okay, we go over 1 and up 2. Over 1 and up 2. All right, let's do another point. Okay, but before we do that, what are these two numbers called? Anybody remember? Coordinate pair. Those are a coordinate pair. So I'm going to give you another coordinate pair, and you are going to mark it as C. So I'm going to scroll down here. Here's your coordinate pair, C. The point at C is 4, 8. You're going to plot that point 4, 8 and label it C. Label it C. So 4 is in our X. So it's over 4 horizontally. So make your way over to 4 and then all the way up to 8. And the point where they intersect is where you draw your letter C. Okay, so it's over 4 and up 8 in a straight line. And the point, that is the point where they intersect. All right. So now we're going to move on to problem number 2. So we are going to create another coordinate plane on your grid paper, just like the one we made here. And now we're going to put some shapes on our coordinate plane, and we are going to name the coordinate pairs. We're going to name those coordinate pairs. So I am going to create a new grid. Okay, we're going to do our x-axis and our y-axis. Should be straight up and down, perpendicular lines, you guys. And label, okay, your x-axis is horizontal, your y-axis is vertical. And mark your points. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you want to number them. Okay. So now we have some shapes that we're going to put on our graph. So find 5 on your y-axis. Okay, and you're going to go over, find 5 and go over 2 spaces, and you're going to put a check mark right there. Check mark. And then we're going to go here, and we're going to draw a square. And you can color your square in, or a rectangle. Okay? You find 3 on your y-axis and go over 4. And then we're going to plot these points together. That's supposed to be a star. And that is a triangle. I'm going to turn my star into a circle because I don't love that. I'm just going to do a dot. There we go. All right, so let's look at these shapes. We're going to do our check mark first. Okay, what is the coordinate pair of our check mark? So remember, coordinate pairs are always x comma y. Okay, so x-axis, let's look at the check mark. It's over. The check mark is over. So if you always want to start at 0, 0 is your origin. So we go over 2 spaces and up 5. So that coordinate pair is going to be 2 comma 5 for our square. Okay, we go over 4 and up 3. So our coordinate pair is 4 comma 3. For the dot, we go over 3 and up. But if you look, we don't go all the way up to 1. So I am going to take a guess that it is 3 comma 1/2 or 3 comma 0.5. And then the triangle, last one, is over 5 up 1. So the coordinate pair would be 5 comma 1. So we're finding where the shapes are, where they intersect. Okay? So what you're going to do is you are going to, if you need more practice, work in your problem set to draw lines perpendicular to the x-axis through the points of P and Q. Label that the y-axis. That'll help you a little bit. And then your full exit ticket here is what we just did, okay? So the sun, if you look at the sun, how many spaces over and how many spaces up? Remember, x is over, y is up. X is horizontal, y is vertical. And then number 2, it wants you to plot a square at the point 3 comma 1/2. You guys got this. Good luck.